F-16s are officially in Ukraine, and I say this because a few days ago we said they were officially, but that was brought in by a publication. But now, Zelensky was not only announcing it, he was standing in front of them armed with US weapons, and we had a flyover with 2 F-16s flying above. So now we have a lot of new information, and we can finally talk about what exactly Ukraine had got and what happened today. So today was Ukrainian Air Force Day, and so Zelensky, knowing that now they have F-16s, I mean, it had been rumored, but we also heard Syrskyi kind of talk about a little bit, saying that they're only going to be within 40 kilometers of the front line. Zelensky took the opportunity to show off what they had gotten. And from his speech, we know how many, by the photos and videos that you're probably seeing on the screen right now, we know what kind of weapons, which are the AIMs. That was announced not too long ago. That being said, Zelensky said in his speech, "I am proud of all of our guys who master these planes and have already started using them for our state," adding that he wants to thank all the partners who are really helping with the F-16 and the first countries that accept our request for aircraft. That's Denmark, the Netherlands, and the United States. The US were the ones that provided the weapons, while Denmark and the Netherlands provided the aircraft, all of which were kind of behind the scenes kind of stuff because those countries had those aircraft kind of as like an extra. They're either getting new aircraft or they already have aircraft now that these are just kind of sitting in storage since 2021. And so they made that switch. And we do know that the United States allowed them to buy certain aircraft so that they can give these ones to Ukraine. And then the United States obviously gave the weapons. Now remember that Ukraine was promised about 79 of these F-16s. This first batch we're finding out we thought was maybe 4 to 6. It wound up being 10. That is pretty big. So that's a squadron. They have a squadron of F-16s. We only really got to see 4 of them in the video that Zelensky uploaded. 2 of them that did the flyover, unless there were 4 that did flyovers in groups of 2 or pairs. And then we had the ones or the 2 that were standing behind him, which did showcase the different weapons that the United States had given to Ukraine. So that means Ukraine now has 10. By the end of the year, they're supposed to get another 10. So by December 2024, altogether, they're going to have 20 F-16. So 2 squadrons, or a squadron could be as low as 6. So, they could be doing more with that, potentially having 4 to do different missions. Now, when it comes to the videos, I gotta smile a little bit. These videos are kind of awesome to watch, not just for the fact that Ukrainians now have them, but these are American aircraft. Looking at these things and hearing them go by, they're just like, oh man! And with the music, obviously, that Zelensky and his team put on it, it gives you a little bit of chills. Now, we don't know exactly what they're going to be doing yet, F-16s. Syrskyi did do an interview where he said they're not going to be within 40 kilometers of the front lines, which still brings me to the point that I've been making on this YouTube channel now for at least 2 weeks. It makes more sense that Ukraine is going to be using these to attack Crimea, or occupied Crimea. That we take them off in Odessa before then flying over, say towards, we'll say, I don't know if we're going to go towards Sevastopol or maybe more towards Kherson. They'll then launch their missiles, whether they're using the AIMs for Russian aircraft or drones, or maybe making them work so they can hit radar stations somehow, before then coming back to the Black Sea, flying low, going back to Odessa, and then landing. Honestly, it seems like the safest thing when it comes to, imagine, they took down all the ships. They started taking down a lot of S-400s. How many did they destroy just in the past week alone, right? Potentially up to 6, maybe even 8. So why else would they be destroying all of these things unless they're planning to go through Crimea first? They would go maybe towards Kherson, maybe towards Sevastopol, start pushing the Russians towards Mariupol, which we know that Russia is building up those fortifications. So it is kind of what I think will be the best thing to do. Now, Syrskyi did have that interview, and I kind of want to go over some of the things that he said because it is a little interesting. So he made a comment on Facebook confirming earlier the day before Zelensky did that Ukrainian pilots are already using the first batch of F-16s. And you're probably saying, for what? What is it that they're actually using them for. And he didn't really give a lot of information when you translate it. I kind of want to translate the post for you. It says, F-16 in Ukraine. This means there'll be more destroyed invaders. There'll be more shot down missiles and planes in which Russian criminals attack Ukrainian cities. Thanks to our allies for this decision. After all, first of all, the effective use of modern aircraft is the preservation of all lives of Ukrainian soldiers. Thank you to the President, the Secretary of Defense, and everyone who worked 24/7 to bring F-16s to our skies. This is another important step towards victory. They're already using them. We don't know what they're using them for just yet. I mean, he says they're going to be taking down aircraft and things like that. Are we waiting for Russia to bring them into occupied territories to take them down? Even though earlier he said that they will not be using them when it comes within 40 kilometers of the front lines. I think that what they'll do is, now that they destroyed all those ships in the Black Sea, they'll use like that straight towards the Kerch Strait to when they see Russian aircraft launching from the Sea of Azov, they'll come in from the side, attack them, and come back. Once again, that is where my head is sitting when it comes to F-16s in Ukraine. Now, outside of those comments, it could be anyone's game. You know, I think a lot of this stuff has to be mind games with Russia. You know, just the thought that Ukraine has these F-16s and they can shoot down Russian targets, aircraft, helicopters, etc., could be enough for Russia to pull back its attacks or maybe move those aircraft even further and further and further away, which doesn't mean that's going to help Ukraine per se. It does in one way, because when they launch those aircraft, it would take longer for them to get to Ukraine, which gives Ukrainian people more time to get to bunkers or get to safety to make sure they're A-okay before those missiles are even launched. And so that's a big deal. And then on top of that, when it comes to destroying air defense systems, Russia won't have too many aircraft in the skies because they're where they're going to get shot down with modern aircraft. Because now you're talking about F-16s going against MiGs or Sus, which are going to be very interesting. Something that I am sure a lot of Americans are really excited about. Because in a way, a lot of these aircraft were developed and built for a potential war that never came. And so this could be the first time that F-16s are truly used for what they were built for. And that's destroying Russian aircraft. I know that sounds really weird, but that's the main reason why these were made. The United States, they were looking at or hearing the rumors of what Russia was developing over there, and they had to build something to combat that and potentially anything that Russia was working on at the time. That's how most of the U.S. aircraft were even made. And since that time, F-16s, while they may have encountered Russians, whether it be, off of Alaska and a few other areas, they were never used the way they were supposed to. So I am sure there's a lot of F-16 fanatics out there that are like, I hope they're filming everything because we want to see these aircraft do what they were made to do. And I once again, I know that sounds really, really strange. But once again, they were made to take down Soviet/Russian planes. This is the first time they're really, truly going to be able to do that. And so this is a big deal, not only for Ukraine, but for the rest of the world, because it's also, in a way, a test. Because all these other countries have F-16s for quite some time, and they haven't really taken down enemy aircraft as well. Now we're going to find out whether or not all the electronics in there are actually doing what they're supposed to do, which I'm pretty sure they can and they will do. It's just, once again, it's the first time we're going to see them in active war. All that being said, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe, turn on notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. I'm Joey. I'll see you later. Bye.